guy.
3 games in the NHL tonight, best bets, a prop segment, and much, much more right here on PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. Guys, happy Friday to all of you out there watching. Hope you guys are having a blast enjoying the NHL season so far, and we hope you are making some money so far this year. Carm, good morning to you. What are the games we're talking about today?
Good morning and happy early weekend. I was looking forward to Fridays, Andrew, because there's so much action on Saturdays. College football, NHL, NFL, European soccer, baseball playoffs. There's everything you can ask for in NBA right around the corner. We're going to look at, after that big card, this NHL does this to us all the time. They stick us with
Yeah.
3 games, 2 of them with massive favorites, but we're going to cover them nonetheless. Carolina is in Pittsburgh to take on the Penguins. San Jose is in Winnipeg to take on the unbeaten Jets. And speaking of unbeaten, we have a winless team in Colorado, 0-4 at home as a big favorite as well, too, hosting the Anaheim Ducks. Will there be some duck shooting tonight, Andrew? And somewhere mixed in between, you are going to regale us with some winners in your props segment. I'm looking forward to it. Guys, before we get to that first game, do us a favor. If you love this content, um, hit that subscribe button. Join the ever-growing community here at Wager Talk. I think it's 179,000 subscribers and growing each and every day. Hit the like button. Let's get it up over 100. Let's beat the Prez and Teddy at the likes today, and drop a comment in the comment section below if you're watching this after and missed the live show, or drop a comment during the live show, and we'll try and get to any questions you guys may have. But Andrew, Canes and Penguins. Penguins put up 6. It was a big nights, milestone nights for Sidney Crosby and Gino Malkin. Gino, that's right, not Evgeny. Gino. Gino's his name. He wants to be Italian, and we're going to talk about Italian pizza in a few minutes. But when there's more of you guys in chat, tell me where you're going, Andrew, with this game.
Carm, I think a lot of the people out there probably know kind of the direction I want to go in, and whether it's the money line on the Hurricanes or whether it's the team total for the Hurricanes, they're the team that I want my money on here. And a few different reasons why. Number one, this Hurricanes team hasn't had nearly as many games as the Pittsburgh Penguins. They lost their first game against Tampa Bay Lightning last Friday, and then they come back earlier this week, and it was a 5% play for me, and they get the job done over the New Jersey Devils. It doesn't really feel like they've had much of a season yet, Carm. But you look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, well, they've certainly had a season so far. They opened the season getting crushed against the Rangers, losing that one 6-0, bounce back, 6-3 win over Detroit. Then they give up 4 goals against the Maple Leafs. Then they win 6-3 over the Habs, and then they give up 5 goals in a victory over the Sabres. And to me, that victory for the Penguins over the Sabres is just a pure example of why, when I'm fading this team in a large part, I want to be on team totals. I just think that whether or not it's in victory or defeat, this team's defense cannot be trusted. I think their defensemen are always worried about jumping into the rush to help offensively, and that creates chances the other way. I talked about it on the show the other day. I do believe they're going to be a more penalized team this year, and I don't really trust their power or their penalty kill that much. So that will lead to goals. And again, Carolina looks sharp in their game against the Devils. They did not look happy after their loss to Tampa Bay, and this team played a real good 60-minute effort, winning that one 4-2. Of course, the 4th goal was an empty netter. But, I think that Pittsburgh is going to do well against teams that have some youth. They're going to use their veteran experience and kind of grind teams out the same way that they beat the Habs. I don't think that, it was really goaltending that was the issue for the Habs that night. I think it was defense, that the Penguins just kind of caught them slipping and took advantage of every chance they had. And for me, Carolina is one of those teams that plays the game the right way. They won't get caught slipping. They're a very well-coached team, good leadership. They're a team that I want to back tonight. So when I look at this, Carmen, just I know we're at the point in the season where I'm not going to be mentioning every single game every team has played in all my breakdowns, but I felt like it was worthy of mentioning here because the Penguins have had a lot more action so far than this Hurricanes team. And again, that victory they put up 6 against the Sabres, but they still give up 5 on the other side of the ice. So whether you're playing the money line for the Hurricanes or you're playing the team total, we'll go ahead and lock in this Carolina team to get the job done on the road tonight. Are you on the same page as me? Is this Pittsburgh team going to be kind of a zigzag type of team throughout the year for a little while?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like defensively, they're not playing well right now. And I'm going to get to like first periods in a second, because at least early on, I think it's something. There's some good numbers that we can sort of focus on. But the game against the Sabres, it was the Sabres lost that game more than the Penguins won that game. The Sabres did what they needed to do. They got on Tristan Jarry. The guy is struggling right now. He's got a goals against average close to like 5.5 right now. Again, still early in the season, but he hasn't looked good. Bloomquist comes in and they had 3 breakaways on him and couldn't score either one of those. Those goals are so important to getting that 2-goal gap or that 3-goal gap. And then the Sabres allow a shorthanded goal. They shot themselves in the foot, took some penalties, and those penalties led to the game-winning goal in OT. Pittsburgh did what they needed to do, but were benefactors of the Sabres not playing well in that game. Now you got Carolina coming in, and you give Carolina those same type of opportunities. And not saying Pittsburgh's going to, but if you give Carolina those same kinds of opportunities, they're going to bury you. They're a very good team. The one thing about these two is, you look back to last year. I think the home team won all 3 games when these two faced off. I believe so. I'll have to check it, but the Canes are 145 right now. It seems like a big price to lay on the road, but I think uh, I know the Canes are the better team here, and I think that Blomqvist looks like he's going to be starting in goal tonight. Looks like it's going to be Freddie Anderson. Nothing confirmed as of yet, as of the morning skates. I've been watching the team reporters. Nothing as of yet, but it looks like it's going to be those two. I would take the Canes here early in the season, a couple games under their belts. I think they're obviously the better team here. I wanted to talk about first periods really quickly, Andrew, before we get into the second game, which is the San Jose and Winnipeg game. And those first period overs, we see they continue to hit. They're not, most of them aren't overpriced. I haven't seen anything really higher than 150, 160, and that's the high end ones. The other ones are in that 120 to 130 range. There's been 68 games played thus far in North America. 2 games that were played obviously in Prague between the Sabres and New Jersey. Those two went 1-1 as far as first period overs go. But the 68 games that have been played thus far in North America, the first period overs have gone 44 and 24. That is, even when you factor in the juice, if you just blindly bet them, and I'm not saying blindly bet them, if you had blindly bet them, you're up money, you're up units on that. So you would have to be paying in excess of minus 180 juice on all 68 plays in order to have not made money, and they haven't been minus 180 juice. So it's something to keep an eye on heading into the weekend. I think these teams defensively are going to start to shore up. I think these teams goaltenders are going to start to get better. We talk about getting on streaks and jumping on streaks. You look at the Edmonton Oilers, they get a much needed win against Philadelphia, and they get the win yesterday in Nashville. But with that said, Andrew, we have another team later on that we're going to talk about streaks, and I've got a good one for you in that Anaheim and Colorado one. But um, have you been playing any of these first period overs?
I've played a few. I have played a few this season, Carmen. A lot of times when I've been playing these, it's a team off getting embarrassed the game before, or a team off a shutout. I find that you can isolate these desperate teams, and especially if you have 2 desperate teams going head to head. Like I would love to play the first period over when 2 teams are playing each other when they both just got absolutely rocked, embarrassed, dominated, because the effort level is there. The will to score is there. And when we say that, obviously every team wants to score, but I think that the first period jump that they're going to have is going to be that much better because of the game they're coming off of. So, everybody says like you don't want to be a Monday morning quarterback and just kind of base everything off the previous game. But I find that with first period totals, you can kind of do that a little bit. You can look at a team that had a really poor effort the night before and then expect them to kind of come out guns blazing. And Carm, you brought it to my attention. I think it was like 2 years ago. We used to joke around about the dreaded 4-1 lead. Remember, we used to talk about that in text, like the 4-1 leads, because that sucks if you have an over, right? And the game kind of starts to dry up a little bit. But the good news about the first periods, it's not drying up because the game is just starting. So whether it's 1-1 or 2-0, it's really easy to get some goals. But if it's like 3-1 going into the third period and you have an over 6 or over 6.5, depending on the team you have that has the lead, they might just go European soccer style, man, and park the bus. Some teams will do that. So that's why sometimes the first period overs can be a good bet, because you want to avoid the teams that are going to get that lead and just sit back and protect it. And I think that one of the teams we're going to talk about next actually probably would like to do that more often this season. And I think that's Winnipeg. Would you agree? They're a team with a good goalie, Carm.
Sorry, continue on.
I saw you taking a drink, so I was trying to fill some air for you.
Thank you. No, you know what? You look at the Jets, and it's early in the season. I still expect some regression from this Jets team. They had a really good season last year where no one expected it. I think it's so early in the season. You're looking at it. Come on, like the Avalanche are at the bottom of the Western Conference standings at 0-4. Anaheim is somewhere like in between. You look at some of these teams, and they're going to get going. It is not hoping that teams that finished in ninth, 10th, or 11th that have started off bad, you're like they're going to get better, because you don't know whether they're going to get better. Case in point, the Red Wings need to find some semblance of defense, because they're not doing it right now. But it's the teams that are normally in the top 4 to top 6 that you expect, if they're off to slow starts, you expect them to put it together, and it affords you an opportunity to make some money if you can get on them, or you get on them as they're starting their streak. You're going to have to pay a premium on it, but you can always find different ways of getting on them, and lowering that price of like from minus 380 on the Jets or minus 255. You look at core numbers. How do they start in the first period? Look at last year's numbers. There's sites you can look at it, like AV or EV Analytics, where you can see how a team did in the first period last year at home, and use that. And if you can get a plus price on the Winnipeg Jets to win the first period instead of laying minus 380, you've got to win 80% of the time. If these teams, if these teams played 5 times, you have to win 4 out of 5 times to eke out a small profit on the Winnipeg Jets. You lose one, and you're chasing tickets. This game, Andrew, tonight, I think the best way to play this Jets game tonight is to look at player props. And specifically the ones on the Jets. You have the Sharks on the second of a back-to-back. They've allowed 33.75 shots on goal per game thus far. And it was a problem that they had last year. It was a problem that the Anaheim Ducks had last year. We had someone in the chat ask me, and I didn't get to answering it yesterday, about some of these teams are starting to allow a lot of shots, much like last season. I usually wait a little longer for that trend to kick in, because one bad game can really skew the number of the average shots on goal. But the Sharks, you look at their games, and they're allowing 30 plus in every game, with the exception of one. So with that said, I think you look at Winnipeg guys as far as tonight goes, and there's more than a few. You can look at the guys like Connor. You can look at guys like Josh Morrissey. Morrissey had 14 shots on goal last year against the San Jose Sharks and did not have a point in the 3 games, Andrew. 14 shots on goal for Josh Morrissey in 3 games against the Sharks. We'll see if he can get there tonight. But That's where I'm looking at. I'm looking at shot props for this one, and we'll look at Morrissey as one of them. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I love the defenseman props. It's great. I feel like you just get better value on them. You're right. Morrissey, whether it's shots, whether it's points for him, across the board, these defenseman props, you just get good value, guys, on them. And this word value gets so thrown around in the betting world. But I truly believe that in hockey, one of the final remaining prop pieces that it's kind of a little bit untapped still is the defenseman props, especially for these guys that are out there on the power play and situations like that. Carm, there's a guy, Mikey Picks. He's on Twitter. I mean, there's a million guys that have similar names, but you might have seen him floating around. He always used to call Fridays Freaky Friday in the NHL. And a lot of times on Fridays, talk to him on Twitter about this because we used to always say that the craziest stuff would happen on Fridays in the NHL. It's kind of like getaway day in MLB because everybody knows what's the big day that everybody wants to be playing in the NHL. Saturday night. Saturday night, no matter which part of North America you're in, whether you're Canada, America, whether you're Montreal, New York, Vegas, wherever you are, Saturday night hockey is the best. Friday night hockey, it's like you said, these teams don't want to be stuck with this spot. They don't want to be one of the few teams that have to play on Friday. They want to be having a practice, get ready for a big, sold out arena and playing Saturday night. So these games are all important. I always find that these weird days are important, and it's important for us as handicappers to not forget about them. Last year for me, I didn't give out nearly as many plays on Sundays. I was tapped in with NFL, tapped in with the remaining CFL season for a large part, and these days, like the Mondays, the Wednesdays, the Fridays, some of these days, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays are the big days in the NHL. Of course, we all know. So why am I saying this? Well, last week on Friday, Winnipeg played another team that's probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league again this year, and that's Chicago. And they only won 2-1, and that one went to overtime. Regulation bettors, they were pissed. Puck line bettors, they were pissed. Team total bettors, those guys were pissed. 2-1 win for the Winnipeg Jets. They come away with the win, and everybody that probably bet on them, unless the guys laid like minus 300, lost. So why am I saying this? I think this is going to be one of those spots that Winnipeg is focused, that Winnipeg is locked in. And I don't, I'm coming on here and giving out a -1.5 play on a team that's expected to win. I understand that. But I like the first period minus the hook. I like the -1.5 here. And I also, just to go back to you here, Carm, I keep talking about the start of the season because it is interesting right now. I wish I had like a huge chart in front of me, but there's some teams that have played so many games already, and some teams like Winnipeg that have only played a few. They open their season, they dominate Edmonton, and then they play the Blackhawks, and then they win by 1 goal against the Wild. This team has only had a few games, Carm. I think they're going to be focused tonight in this one against San Jose. They're getting San Jose in a back-to-back. I like this one quite a bit.
The only one at the end of the day, Andrew, the only ones that care about whether a team wins by multiple goals, scores a lot, goes over in the first period are us, the betters. The team just want to put W's in the win column. The coaches will normally address any problems within a game after the game, but they don't care. They just want the W. They don't care how it gets there. What I mean? Like quickly, like Prez, I had the Edmonton Oilers. I think the last game of their homestand against the Philadelphia Flyers, and I had them on the puck line -1.5 plus 105 or 110. Prez calls me on his way to hockey, and he's asking me what play I have. So I told him. He goes, okay, I'm on regulation. The Oilers in regulation, so one of us is going to win. That's great. And I'm like, if the game goes to overtime, neither of us wins. Well, that game went to overtime, of course. I wish I could have posted tweeted out, but it would be going against my own play. This game's going overtime. Prez predicted it. There's no way either one of us can lose, and then the game goes to overtime and we both lose. So yes, there's always a way to lose, but the Edmonton Oilers got the win, and they don't care that the Prez and I went 0-1 on the game. Guys, settle a dispute for me. This is Andrew and I almost, and Dan, our producer, we almost came to blows in the production room prior to this show. Does pineapple belong on a pizza? I am a firm no. It does not belong on a pizza. These guys are ordering pineapple on their pizza. Like, what's next? Sliced apples? Like, okay, maybe apples with a little fig jam and stuff. Dan is gonna chime in on his mic and say, because Dan is a fantastic chef in his own right. But come on, guys, pineapple on a pizza? Yes or no? Let us know in the chat.
I
And
will
while
say
you
for
guys
me,
do that,
Carm,
Andrew,
not every
yeah,
order. It's
go ahead.
not every order. I'm just okay with it. That's the thing. It's not like every order I'm doing it. It's just like I will every now and then, and it depends on the place I'm ordering from. But let me ask you this. Are you like harshly against it? Or you're just like, oh, I'm not really a fan. Like if there was no other pizza in the room and somebody offered you a slice, would you actually not have it? Or are you just kind of against
Well,
it?
if I go to a restaurant, if I go somewhere and I order an appetizer and then I order a pizza and I get like, whatever, like a New York style pizza or whatever, pepperoni, mushrooms, green peppers, what have you. I don't order pineapple on it. Pineapple is something that you have for dessert. When dessert comes, I don't ask them to bring me a bowl of pepperoni. No, I don't. I ask them to bring me some sliced fruit. So no, it does not belong on a pizza. I stand firm on that. I'm telling you, go to Italy and try and order pineapple on a pizza in Rome or in Naples, and you may not come back to North America. You are going to be like they do in Vegas when we talk about 86 and someone. You're going to be driven 8 miles out and buried 6 feet deep. Do not put pineapple on a pizza.
All
With
right.
that said,
All right.
Andrew, how about some props? Give us some props. Give us a couple of winners tonight. I see you got two plays. Where are we going with this Andrews props, which have been absolutely money makers this season, unlike pineapple on pizza?
Yeah, Carm, coming off a 3-0 night with the props I gave out for the Thursday night slate. So exciting. The prop playbook has been on fire. And guys, we're going to try and do these most days here on Puck Time throughout the week. So make sure you're tuning in or follow me on Twitter at McGinnis Picks to get all of my prop bets as well that I tweet out. And guys, that promo code is still available for today and the rest of the weekend. Save 50, save 50. Take $50 off a 30-day NHL package. Save 50. We are off a losing night last night. The right reads, but the team totals didn't get there. We got a little greedy, I guess, with the team total plus prices, and the team won, but didn't get to 4 goals for us. We'll bounce back tonight, but still plus 15 units on the season. 2 player props for today. Laying some chalk with this one, Carm, but Nathan MacKinnon to score a goal tonight. Look, this Colorado Avalanche team is a disaster right now. It's a disaster. They've got so many injuries, you can't even keep up with it. You know, between Lehkonen, between Landeskog still being out, between Drouin still being out, so many guys going down. Miles Wood got injured the last game. This is going to be like 3 guys having to carry a team for the next month. And right now they're winless. And now they're playing host to the Anaheim Ducks. They need this win. They need a big win. And I think this is an opportunity for the top line to feast on a team that's a little bit poor defensively, that takes a lot of penalties. I don't necessarily like laying a price like minus 135 with goal scores. You see this number for guys like MacKinnon, for McDavid, Matthews, but every now and then, if you pick your spots, you can make some money with it. I think Nate will score tonight, minus 135. We'll go with MacKinnon from the Avalanche to get on the scoreboard. And today on Puck Time, Carm mentioned that the Winnipeg game could be a great one for prop bets. And I couldn't agree more. And I can't believe I'm getting Cole Perfetti, second line left winger from the Winnipeg Jets, plus 140 to record a point. San Jose, second half of a back-to-back. Winnipeg's off to a good start so far, albeit they haven't scored a ton of goals. They're still kind of winning these games. And if there's ever going to be a game for them to have an offensive outbreak, this is the game. So plus 140 for a second line player against San Jose, second half of a back-to-back. I like that one quite a bit. Carm, 3 games on tap tonight. I decided to stick with just 2 picks. Let's try and keep this thing going.
I like it, Andrew. 3-0 yesterday on yesterday's show with your prop plays. I absolutely love this segment. I can't believe I came up with that idea, Andrew. I'm taking full credit for coming up with this idea for you because you just weren't sharing them. You need to share. Sharing is caring, as they say. But I like the McKinnon one, and I like Cole Perfetti, not to be confused with confetti, another Italian thing. Andrew, do you know, you're so young, you're not going to know this, but some of the old Italian guys who might be watching this, back in the day when people got married, as the bride and groom came out of the church, Italians, they have the little confetti that they have at their weddings, the little white confettis, hard candy. We used to pelt the bride and groom with them, not rice, not little paper confetti, hard candy. You would just whip them, and we were young. We're kids. We're like 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever. We're just trying to pelt the groom as much as we could with this hard candy. So with that said, maybe karma came back to get me in my later years. With that said, Andrew,
Carm,
good luck on your prop bet. And
thank you. I like the smashing
and
plates. I have a lot of Greek friends. I'm going to another Greek wedding in a handful of months. I like the smashing plates one. That one, I mean, that's a tradition I can get behind. Some of these Greek traditions. I don't know if you've been to many Greek weddings, but man, they've got a lot of traditions.
yeah,
But I can get behind smashing a few plates. There's a lot of wedding traditions, whether you're throwing candy at somebody or you're smashing plates or some of these dances. There's some different traditions that we can all get behind. And whenever I go to weddings like that, it
yeah,
just makes me feel like the wedding
yeah.
I have is going to be kind of boring. So I got to create some of my own traditions here.
No, I am. I listen, Dan and I are looking forward to when you get married. We and our better halves better get invited. I am looking forward to coming to your wedding and as you walk out of the church, pelting you with slices of pineapple. So I am so looking forward to that. But we got to get on, man. We got Anaheim in Colorado. I'll send it back to you. How are you playing this game?
Well, as I mentioned, look, Friday seems to be a weird day in the NHL every week. And a lot of times they just set it up where it's just one team that's a massive favorite against a team that's not supposed to be very good. I mean, 2 of the 3 games we have this today on this slate, it's at least minus 250 being the price, you know. But this is a thing we always say, Carm. Must win doesn't mean will win. You know, a team in desperation does not mean they're going to get going again. And the fact of the matter is, how do you find a way to bet on this Colorado team? That's really the question at this point. And when they win their first game, is it going to be an offensive explosion? Because last game they played, they also needed a win. They also were desperate, but they were playing the Boston Bruins. And now they get a chance to play an Anaheim team that just gave up a ton of goals against Utah. And Utah was in a bad spot. Utah was in a bad travel spot. And they almost won. Anaheim scored a late goal in the third period, then won that one in overtime. But when we look at the Avalanche here, I think, again, Carm, the play we have to look at is that first period play. And I know sometimes it takes time. It takes time for these teams to get it together. They might need a full 60 minutes to get that chemistry going. Hell, they might need 60 minutes to blow the lead. So I don't want to give them that time. I want to see what this team, albeit they have so many injuries, I want to see what they're capable of doing in the first period. So short and simple for me, plus 120. It worries me because we all know what's going to happen, Carm. One of these underdogs is going to go down tonight, or one of these favorites is going to go down tonight. We got to just figure out which one it is. It's just always the way it goes, it seems. But give me the Avalanche in the first period, puck line plus 120 here. And hopefully I'm not throwing bad juju into the air, Carm, with saying one of these dogs is going to win, because I kind of like all 3 favorites here tonight.
Andrew, you kind of stole my show best bet, but I'm fine with that or whatever. I got a better price on it. I got plus 130 on it. But listen, I get it. I talked about looking at this Avalanche team, and they're 0-4 right now. And we talk about sort of looking ahead to this team. So the team played better against the Boston Bruins. Georgiev actually looked better against the Bruins, made some huge saves for them, but they just weren't there defensively. The Avs to give him the support. The one thing about this Avs team is by the time next Friday rolls around, we could be talking about an Avs team that are on a very good win streak. This is what the Avs have in the future, and this to me smells like a 5 to 6 game win streak. They have the Ducks tonight. If they get by the Ducks tonight, they hit the road to play the Sharks, the Seattle Kraken, and the Utah Hockey Club. They come back home and face the Ottawa Senators and the Chicago Blackhawks. That is the next 11 days for Colorado. There are wins, and there are plenty of wins waiting for you guys to jump on. I'm jumping on the Colorado train. I'm jumping on them tonight. I like that first period one, and I'll probably look at the puck line as well too for them. There's different ways of looking at it. You can look even at the Avs team total as well too. The Ducks are a team that I didn't forecast to have a very good season. I think they're even though they had a decent start to it, their points total for the season was 78.5 points. They know that they're going to finish in the one of the two bottom spots. Sometimes bad teams have good starts to seasons, just as good teams have bad starts. Regression will eventually set in for this Ducks team. Hopefully that happens tonight, Andrew. So give me Colorado on the puck line.
I think, Carm, that this Avalanche team is one of those teams that, like you said, just needs some confidence right now. And although they're so injured, they just need some confidence, man. And you're right. I love the way you map out these schedules. They just need to get a game under their belt where they play some solid hockey and kind of snowball that into some success. And, you always talk about not overreacting. And I think there's going to be some teams that are starting slow that are going to get it going. But also on the other side of that, some teams that are starting relatively strong that might fall off as well. So it'll be important to mention that. And Utah could be one of those teams. Utah, they're still a good team. I actually respect them. They're not the Arizona Coyotes anymore. They're not a team that lacks depth. They're exciting, but they might be a team that I have circled to start slipping a little bit here, Carm. But you have a jam-packed weekend ahead of you, man. All kinds of sports going, and you have a promo code to give out. What's up with you, Carm?
So yes, a couple of things, and I'm going to start it by asking you guys, and I'm dropping the link right now in the live chat. I'm going to ask you guys to watch this video, hit the like button. Let's get this. Dan, our producer, puts so much work into these videos for me, the Let Carm Cook videos, that we got to give the guy some love. Absolutely hilarious, some of the stuff he does. And he has to work with me, which isn't always the easiest thing. So I have dropped the link in the live chat there. Now, a couple things. You can use code CARM20. CARM20 is going to get you $20 off a 3-day all access package. So you're going to get all the plays for today, tomorrow, and Sunday. As far as what is up right now, NHL plays and props pack for tonight. There's 4 of them. No soccer today. I'm passing on the card. I may add a client play to it. One college football play up for tonight, 3 up for tomorrow. 11-0 college the last 3 Saturdays, 11-1 run overall. Having a great time of it there. EPL soccer is going to be up shortly. NHL Saturday night, so plenty of action there. And then NFL, Saturday nights. I'm going to mention one more thing. A 5% play it's the decision day in the MLS, final week of the season. I have a 5% play up there, and then coming right back with a NFL 5% play up on Sunday. So drop that $69 3-day price down to $49 with code CARM20. As far as my free play, guys, it's going to be that Avalanche first period puck line. Avs -0.5 plus 130 is the price that was on our live lines consensus. I like this play. Let's get the Avs rolling and let's jump on that streak train with them. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Give that video a watch, 5 plays, and let Carm cook. We're going to try and cook up some winners instead of burning down the kitchen. Andrew, give us a show best bet. Let us know what you have up at Wager Talk, and let's send us into the weekend.
Yeah, Carm, congrats on that college run, man. Holy crap. Great stuff there. 11-0 college football run, guys, for Carmine. Make sure you check out his plays over at WagerTalk. For me, we're up 15 units in the NHL so far. A big play going tonight, so you can get that best bet over at WagerTalk. Like I said, these small slates in the NHL, guys, people are sleeping on them. You can make money, and I got a big play going tonight in the NHL, so don't miss out on that over at WagerTalk. My free play is going to be the Carolina Hurricanes on the money line. If you want to dip your toes in the water with the team total, you can do that as well. But I feel like this Hurricanes team matches up very, very well against the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're going to get on a little bit of a win streak. They dropped their first game. They win their second game against the Devils, and they're going to win tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins. That promo code, guys, save $50 off a 30-day NHL package. If you want to join me, lots of you have. Today is a good day to do it with some great plays going today and tomorrow in the NHL. All right, guys, we always appreciate you guys commenting live or after the show. Really appreciate you. Hit the like button on this video, subscribe, and keep your eyes open for the YouTube video I do tomorrow. Every game on the board with Saturday. All right, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.